Hey y'all, this is Terry Lomax here from Mocha Girls Pit Stop, the Mocha Girls Pit Stop show where women of color refuel on motivation and ignite their lives. So today we're going to do something a little different. Today is National Orgasm Day, and I have to be honest, this is a subject that I'm not necessarily comfortable speaking about or a subject that I'm very knowledgeable about, but I think it's very important for us as women to speak about sex, our sexuality, orgasms, all that good stuff, so that we can make sex non-taboo, right? It's such a taboo topic, and I think it's important for us to educate ourselves. And I brought someone, an amazing expert here to tell us all about that. So, Michelle Hope, welcome. Where'd you go? Oh no, I think we lost her. Okay, so we've been having some technical difficulties, but I see we have 2 viewers in the room. So we have 3 viewers. Oh my gosh, we are live. We have 3 viewers. Okay, this is great, guys. So Michelle Hope was just on, and it looks like she got cut off, but we're live. So if you can do me a favor and in the chat, let me know where you're tuning in from and what you're looking forward to today. And if you missed the intro, today is National Orgasm Day, and I was basically saying that this is a topic that I'm not necessarily very knowledgeable about or comfortable speaking about, but our expert is here, and technology is like driving us crazy today, but she just signed back on. Michelle, welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. And I'm super sorry for, when technology goes bad, it goes all the way bad. But that's not going to stop us from celebrating National Orgasm Day, which is probably one of my favorite days of the year, besides my birthday.
All right, Michelle, so should we go ahead and dive into these questions? Are you ready?
I am ready. But first, can I just really quickly let everybody out there know that just one basic thing. Orgasm and ejaculation are 2 separate things. So let's just get it out of the park and let everybody know ejaculation and orgasm are definitely different things. Orgasm is the feeling of euphoric sense. There's tightening of muscles, whereas ejaculation is when someone releases semen or other bodily fluids during the orgasmic phase. Now, however, orgasm and ejaculation often happen at the same time. They don't necessarily have to. So that'll make sense later when we're talking about some other things. But I kind of wanted to lay a baseline for all of our participants.
That's good stuff, because I didn't know that. So thank you. I done got my pen and my paper out now so I can take some notes. So let's go ahead. Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and dive into the first question. So the question is, can alcohol affect sexual pleasure, i.e. a woman feels more aroused after consuming alcohol? Please explain this.
Okay, so yes, alcohol can absolutely impact not only your sense of pleasure and what it feels like, but it can also inhibit your judgment. And I think that starting with this question is best, because if you have a glass of wine or 2 glasses of wine, that's fine. But when you could not get behind the wheel of a vehicle, you are not in a position to give consent to have intercourse in the first place. And the most important part of these kinds of conversations is really doing no harm and making sure we're staying safe, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. So yes, it's wonderful to have a couple drinks. It's wonderful to go out on that date. And, it makes you feel a little bit more relaxed. You don't have as many apprehensions. And, we want this experience to be relaxing, but you guys really need to be mindful. So there's that aspect of it. And then also it can inhibit you from reaching climax, right? So you want to be sure that you're not in a position that alcohol would impact your feelings. And that happens. You've heard of people say, oh, he had, and I'm going to try not to use expletives. I'm going to try to clean it up. But you have heard people say, oh, he had a whiskey. And that would imply that he was unable to either keep an erection, because alcohol can definitely impact a man's erections because it's blood flow. You're drinking alcohol, your blood thins, and to really become aroused for both men and women, it's called vasocongestion. That is where blood rushes to the genitals from the rest of the body. And if that blood is too thin, you will not get an erection. You may not be able to ejaculate. And for women, it might really inhibit them from being able to get maybe wet as they might want to, or actually get to climax. But I think that it's important to understand, my biggest concern when it comes to alcohol is the fact that it will impede your judgment, and then you're not safe. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure yes is yes, and you want to be in a space of mind and body where you can say yes to sex.
Wow, that's good stuff. I heard of whiskey. I guess we're gonna, mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
So call it what it is, honey. Whiskey penis.
There you go. So whiskey dick, whiskey penis. I've heard of that before, but I didn't understand the science behind it. So thank you for breaking that down.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask, what about marijuana? Does that have a different effect, or?
I mean, any kind of drugs and alcohol are going to impede your senses, right? It's going to inhibit you from experience the height of pleasure, even though initially we might think, oh my gosh, this is great. I feel so horny when I'm on this drug, or like a Molly, or like even cocaine, and other like methamphetamines will really kind of maybe up your sex drive. But number one, again, I think we go back to the idea of consent and not being able to consent when you're under the influence of drugs and alcohol. And two, you're not really having a real true experience. So you're really limiting your orgasms in the long haul, because you may become dependent on those substances to be able to achieve orgasm, when really we don't want that. Similarly to if you like masturbating, which I'm all for, and you're using a lot of pornographic material, you might find yourself in a situation later on where you can't get an erection, or you might have problems ejaculating, or sex intimately with another person might not become as enjoyable for the main and simple reason you're, again, relying on an external stimuli to get you off. And we want to teach you how to not do that.
Wow, that's good stuff. All right. Thank you, Michelle. Should we dive into question number 2?
Absolutely.
Okay, so question number 2 is, what's the quickest way to make a woman orgasm?
Take her shoe shopping. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Take her car shopping, diamond shopping. No. So when we think about how we respond sexually, we have to think about it in the terms of the body. So women have to have an interest. So they want to be interested, and they want to have like some type of mental interest. So there's got to be an attraction. And then beyond that, you want to take some time to get to know the woman or the woman's body. Now, I'm not here to be like, oh, you need to be on a 90-day rule before you can get some tail. We're talking about how to get a woman to come quickest, right? And I think before we get into the bedroom, it's really communicating and allowing that woman to tell you what her fantasies are. And same for women. Women should allow the men that they're dating, or their partners in general, to be able to express what it is they like, right? Now, anatomically, hold on, because you know I have a prop.
Let's do this. Let's do it.
Anatomically, we're going to look at the vagina, and it looks something like this, okay? So this is a vagina.
Oh, wow.
And this is my vagina pillow. I love her dearly. If I have to, I do take her to dinner from time to time. So this is a vulva. Oftentimes we call the vagina, we refer to all of this as the vagina. That is not the case. This whole entire part is called the vulva, and it is comprised of many different parts. So let's start here with your labia minora. Those are your thinner lips, and those lead up to like the hood. And right under the hood, we have the clitoris. Now, the clitoris is about 3 to 4 inches, but we only see about 1/4 of that, which is the head of the clitoris. And that's where all the nerve endings are, right? This is your pleasure playland, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Somebody once told me that the way they like to turn women on is by making the man in the boat stand up. And that's what you want to do with this. When women go through vasocongestion and blood engorges this space, it's going to get a little engorged and kind of pop out a little bit. So you want to focus on that area, right? You can pull the hood back slightly to expose the area. But remember, the clitoris has 8,000 or more nerve endings in that little tiny space. it will be sensitive. So let's be mindful with our partners and really be like, do you like this? Do you not like, is that too much? Faster, slower, right? And then, right on the inside, on the upper part, oftentimes you hear people talking about the G-spot. When the vagina is engorged, again, going through vasculocongestion, it's going to be a little bit of a rougher feeling on the upper part, about 2 inches in. A combination of stimuli between the clitoris and the vagina. The vagina is this cavity. Babies come out, tampons, fingers, tongues, and other objects go in, right? And right above that is your urethra, okay? So a combination of these two is really what's going to help with that. But also, let's not forget about the nipples. And how do we lead up to the vagina, right? We want to take time to really explore the body. Sensuality and your senses are huge. And foreplay should really begin before we get to the bedroom. The way you graze your partner's shoulder, or the way you put your arm around somebody, or, you know, innocent looks, and maybe the small of her back you might grab, or when you open the door. These are all things that can really lead up to orgasm and really can help women enjoy themselves and reach that plateau a lot quicker, because it's a cycle. But let's not be corny either. Let's not like try to, let me go down on you. It shouldn't be mechanic. It should be organic. And my hope is that you would allow for about 15, 20 minutes of foreplay before we start intercourse. So, but that's, some women like it. Some women like to be ridden hard and put back wet, honey. And I'm not here to judge.
Right. And you made a good point too, Michelle. Like, communication is key because everyone likes something different. So communicating with your partner, like you said, that's how you'll be able to find out. So thank you for that illustration. I'm a visual learner, so I appreciate it.
You might pull her back out. So
let's move on to question number 3. Really quick, we actually have some comments in the comment section, Michelle. We have Erica from Sacramento who wants to get connected with more Sexperts. So welcome, Erica. Thanks for watching.
Hello, welcome from New York.
We have Dark Beauty, who is from St. Louis, who's just watching to see what info you have for us, Michelle. So welcome, Dark Beauty 89, who's tuning.
Hello.
In. We have 10 viewers now. We're on to question number 3. So let's dive on in.
Yes.
Question 3 is, I've never tried anal and I'm very curious. What can I do to help my boyfriend with the idea?
I have a feeling that might not be too difficult to. Now, when I read this question, first and foremost, all these questions were great. So thank you to all the people that sent in questions. Yeah. I was confused as to if this individual meant, how do I warm my boyfriend up to taking anal from me, which is referred to as pegging. Okay. And if it's done in a heterosexual relationship, it is not a homosexual act. I want to put that out there too. Mm-hmm. Or if she was asking how she can convince her boyfriend to want to be the top of an anal situation with her. Well, I would first, again, you're going to hear me repeat communication, but let's do it in a sexy way. Let's not be cornballs about it. You know, I think that there is, hello?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, you can see, okay. I think that there is a stigma around that, but I also think, I don't want to make assumptions, but a lot of men have that fantasy. So I would suggest starting the conversation with fantasy and explaining to them that you have always had this fantasy.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Michelle? I think we froze up. This technology is out of control today. Can you hear me, Michelle? Did we lose her? All right, guys, let's wait 1 minute. I think we may have lost our Sexpert. I think we may have lost her. And of course, we are live, so we're just going to go with the flow. It looks like we have 9 viewers here. Michelle, just hop on in whenever you can hear me. Looks like we have 9 viewers tuning in live right now. So we heard from Erica. We heard from Dark Beauty 89. Okay, you're back.
I'm sorry. So I would think, okay, So fantasy. I'm not sure where you lost me, but I would start a conversation, let them know that you are into that, and test the waters. Nobody wants to be rejected during sex, right? Nobody wants to be rejected. So if you're afraid that you might be rejected, what my suggestion would be is I would suggest that you preface it like, hey, the other day I was blaming things on porn. I saw this act in porn, and I was wondering what you thought about it, and start the conversation that way. Or I blame it on my girlfriend. You know, my girl the other day was telling me that her and her boyfriend tried this. What do you think about that, right? So then you take that pressure off of you, and it's no longer about you and your relationship, because it can be really intimidating for the boyfriend, for the partner, and the level of embarrassment. And when it comes to sex and sexuality, oftentimes there's a lot of shame. And people have a lot of these ideas that, oh my gosh, if I want it in my butt, he's gonna think I'm dirty. He'll probably think I'm a slut. Let's be honest with each other. If you like something in the bedroom and your partner judges you for that, you really might want to reconsider if that is a good match for you. Because when two people come together, I don't care if you're two men, you're two women, you're a man and a woman, when you enter into an intimate, loving relationship, that greatest expression of that intimacy can be sex. And it is that act. So you want to make sure you're with somebody who is open and non-judgmental in that space. And then I have a couple other suggestions for anal. Lube, 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 and more lube, girlfriend. I also might advise we start with fingers and toys, because that rectum, ooh, girl, it will lock on you. It will lock up. It is a muscle. It can lock. And nobody wants that. Nobody, you be like, ah. Yeah, so start slow. Use fingers. And lube, 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 lube. My favorite lube is a lube called Uber Lube. My favorite lube?
Yes. Uber Lube. I've never heard of Uber Lube.
I always try to have everything around me, but when questions like this, okay, this is my favorite lube. It's called Uber Lube, and it's a silicone-based lube. It's medical grade silicone. So you want to be mindful when you're using a silicone lube. You are not necessarily supposed to use this with latex, because it can compromise the integrity of the latex.
Okay.
But with the Uber Lube, it is medical grade. So my urging is, if you're playing safe, because we all should be, use a female condom instead of a male condom for anal sex. That is not latex, okay? Right, you're looking at me like, what? A female condom?
I'm taking notes, girl.
Here's how you're going to do that, right? This is what a female condom looks like. A lot of people don't know, because a lot of people don't use them. And I feel like I shouldn't really be calling it a female condom. It should be called an internal condom.
Okay.
So, because it's not just for women, although initially that was the thought. So you have to take the ring out. There's a ring in the back of the female condom, so you take that out.
Okay.
And then again, this is not a latex. This is made of a polyurethane. Let me get my penis. You're going to take your erect penis, and it's going to be baggy on the penis, and that's totally okay, because once it gets in your butt, it's not coming out until you're ready. I'm just saying, girl, laugh, giggle, it's fine. Let's, grab your Sunday mimosas, ladies.
That's right.
We talking about sex. We're grown-ups. We're grown. You asked me how to get it in your butt. I'm just trying to help you.
Exactly.
So here you are. The penis is on, or the female condom is on the penis. Now, you can use the ring that was on the inside as kind of a base to help hold the penis, because again, it's big. But once it goes into the rectum, right, it is not gonna, the condom is actually it's going to stay in, and then the penis will go in out. See how that kind of, see how it, so it will stay. But again, I would urge you, if you've never done anal before, grab some beads. I don't have an example of anal beads right now. I'm sorry about that. But grab some anal beads, and ain't nobody done it better than your fingers. Start with a little bit of massaging around the anus, and then a little bit more. I am non-judgmental. I'm just saying. And remember that safe sex is the best sex. And I would also come up with a safe word. When we're diving into the back door, safe words are best. And a safe word, remember, is a 1-syllable word.
Okay.
You know, because when we get into more advanced levels of play,
yeah,
you might be like roped up. You needed to be able to say jelly.
Yeah, something, juice, something, chili.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
Very nice. Okay. Well, let's move on to question number 4. This is good.
I hope people are enjoying it.
I know. You guys leave some comments and tell us what you think so far. Michelle has her visuals here for us. She's illustrating things. So definitely give us some feedback. I'm checking the comment section over here. So we're going to.
And men, if there are men watching, throw us a question or two.
Yes, throw us a question or two, men who are watching. Okay. So number 4. Why are some men against bringing toys into the bedroom?
Okay. So let's. Ladies. We must remember ego is a big deal, right? And that's not just for women, but it's also for men. And sometimes when it comes to sex, men can kind of have some apprehensions like, well, what if the toy doesn't, like, what if she thinks the toy is better than me? No, I don't believe we as women think that a toy is better than a man. But it goes back to, and I'm going to bring back out my little baby, it goes back to the clit. A lot of men are unaware of how to really stimulate the clit. Because I feel like when I hear couples talk about their apprehension with toys, it's usually around vibrators. But also, vibrators can be cumbersome, okay? Like, let's keep it real. So this is like a little vibrator that's kind of, oh, that's not so scary. But then you got like something like this, and someone might be like, whoa, what the heck is that? I don't understand where that's going. And then we even have some people that enjoy the very much larger.
Okay.
The Hitachi wand, which something like that can be very, very kind of, whoa, that thing is 2 feet big. And like, what are you doing with that? And I feel as though sometimes men are apprehensive because they're unaware, right? They don't understand that it's not to better the sex and that the sex isn't good enough before. It's really to just try something new, keeping it spicy, and taking it to the next level. And if you've never had intercourse with a vibrator on your clitoris, I would really urge you to try that.
That's good stuff. That's really good stuff, Michelle. I appreciate that. I have a lot of friends who talk about wanting to bring toys into the bedroom and their man feeling as though it's like a competition. Like, you don't need no toys, all me. You know, I got this. So I appreciate your insight.
Well, the next time one of your girlfriends says that, tell them, honey, the toys can't take out the trash, and I need a big, strong man to do that. So the toy is never going to win. The toy can't rub my back. The toy can't grab my boobies and play with my vagina at the same time. So I don't think a man needs to worry about that. A toy can't look me in the eye, tell me I'm beautiful, and then kiss me deeply on the street after a date, and then in my mind say, oh, we trying all kinds of things tonight. So I really want to help men take that off the table. Yeah. Right? A toy is not replacing you.
And I think the fact that the concept that you brought up about framing is so important. Like you said, I blame it on porn. Like, oh, I saw this the other day, or my friend said she tried this. I want to try this too.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, because you always want to make sure you're conscious of the person's feelings when you're bringing it up. So good stuff. All right. So question number 5 is, why does foreplay get shorter and shorter as the relationship gets longer?
Because we get lazier and lazier, and really it's not even about lazy sometimes. It's we get busy. When you're married, you have kids, you got a job, you might have 2 jobs, you might be a single parent. Listen, life is busy, and sometimes we don't take enough time to pamper ourselves. We don't take enough time to love ourselves. And a part of loving yourself, whether you're single or attached, is finding pleasure in yourself, right? So one thing I always advise the couples that I work with, because I do work with couples on intimacy coaching, is making sure 15 minutes a day you take to have a conversation with your partner. Not about PTA, not about who's picking up for soccer, not about the leaky pot toilet in the upstairs bedroom, but about your hopes, your dreams, fantasies. 15 minutes, and I want you to put a timer on.
That's good.
Right? You need 15 minutes, because at least then, right, if you are in a situation where you're super, super busy, but every day you block out 15 minutes, you're going to have at least 15 minutes of sex, right? And the average sex act, like actual coitus, penis and vagina before ejaculation, is anywhere from 2 to 7 minutes in America. So if you have focus, and see, this is intention. You have focused intention on connection with your partner, and you are on a daily basis taking 15 minutes to talk, whether in the morning when you get up, whether at night before you go to bed. You're just talking. You will have a better sex life. I guarantee it. Maybe if you have problems, like each of you write down different topics, and you put them in a hat, and or in a little box, and you keep that by the bed, and every night you pull out that question or that topic, and you take 15 minutes to talk about it, you're gonna have a better relationship. Now, a lot of people are like, well, I don't even have time. I just get home, I fall in the bed. Yeah, it's called work. And to have a healthy and happy sex life, have a healthy and happy relationship with your partner, it takes work. And I'll be a good gosh darned if I would rather have a couple minutes of me having to write some topics down at the beginning of the week, and pull those out with my partner at night, rather than having to play with a vibrator he thinks is going to give me a better orgasm alone, girlfriend.
That's really, really good. And it sounds like it all boils down to communication. Just communicate with your partner. And that's so simple. I like that, keeping it spicy with the different topics. So, question number 6.
Yes.
Why does the female body become so aroused when she is on her period?
Great question. I'm really happy somebody asked this, because I want to encourage more period sex, for the main and simple reason that having sex on your menstrual cycle can get rid of cramps. When you orgasm, actually masturbate on your period, I don't really care, but it will help relieve cramps, because when you're masturbating or with a partner and you climax, your body releases all kinds of oxytocin in the brain, your muscles are relaxing, you've had all of this blood flow going to the genitals while you were getting aroused, during masturbation. And then when you reach climax, it's a release of so many dopamine and all of these chemicals in the body, and it really helps to relax. Now, the reason women are getting horny on their periods is because during menstruation, your body automatically has extra blood there. It's not that you're necessarily going through vasocongestion, but because the body is going through the process of shedding the uterine lining, there's more blood down there to do the work. So you're slightly engorged, right? And so it's totally natural to be horny on your menstrual cycle. And it's totally safe to have intercourse on your menstrual cycle. But I would like to let you know, if you are having intercourse during your menstrual cycle, you definitely need to use a condom, because menstrual blood is still blood, so it can carry HIV and other STI infections. So you just want to be mindful. If you're with a partner and you guys have been tested together and you're monogamous, put a towel down or do it in the shower, but preferably a dark towel. And also, when women have intercourse on their menstrual cycles, you actually stop bleeding while you're having, or the bleeding kind of subsides, but you're still going to see the blood because it's still in the vagina. Okay. But during the intercourse, there's not lining coming out of the cervix.
Okay, I didn't know that either. Thank you, Michelle.
Yes, girl.
All right. So, question number 7 is, why is it that most women cannot orgasm back to back?
Well, first and foremost, not all women can do that, period. For the ones that are, because there's something called a refractor period. Mm-hmm. Men can experience this. So what we're talking about is the human sexual response cycle. And there are a number of stages, and I don't have it right in front of me, and I don't want to say wrong, but once you reach plateau and then orgasm, you have to go down, all the way down to arousal. So I think it's like arousal, plateau, orgasm, and it's kind of like a clock. Boom, 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 boom. Now, some women can stay in the orgasmic phase and kind of go up and down from plateau to orgasm back to back. But that's not all women. Men cannot do that. Men go through the phases, and then they have to have a refractor period. Mm-hmm. Now, that refractor period doesn't mean that their penis will not get hard, because it could stay hard, but they will not orgasm in the same way, right? Women can be like, oh, and then be like, oh, right? We can experience multiple orgasms, but for men, they have to have the refractor period has to like reset. So their body has to recalibrate. Similarly to some women. But remember, orgasm, ejaculation, two totally different things. Mm-hmm. Orgasm is something that's very mental and is like the release of the, like you've heightened and you felt it and you're like, oh my gosh. Ejaculation is the ejaculation of liquid and or semen. So I think sometimes women get those two things confused, and I think they might be having multiple orgasms, but because there's not excess fluid squirting out, or they haven't gushed, or there's not something of that nature, they feel like they're not orgasming.
Okay, and this is just a follow-up question, Michelle. How can a woman know if she does have an orgasm? Like if it doesn't.
Well, every orgasm is different.
Oh.
Okay, so I don't want to speak for everybody's orgasm, but there are some kind of telltale signs. You're going to feel the pulsating in your vagina afterwards. That's your Kegel, kind of your pelvic floor is kind of throbbing. And somebody's like, why would after I have sex, do I feel this throbbing? I'm like, probably because you had an orgasm, because that blood is pumping. You've released, and now the blood is just flowing at your heart rate. So you're feeling this throbbing. Your muscles in that area, and also in other places of your area, you know, sometimes you catch a cramp because your muscles can spasm, and those are all really normal ways of experiencing orgasm. But some women will experience it much differently than other women, and that's totally okay. But I think what I would identify these feelings as is kind of like this pulsating in the vagina. And it will probably be very sensitive. Your clitoral area will be very sensitive. And you'll be like, no, like,
right.
Like, woo, wait. Like, you don't even want to say no. You're like, wait, just a second. Just give me, okay. Like something like that. I don't know. That might have been a little extra.
That sounds so familiar, Michelle. Oh my gosh.
I'm sure someone else is cracking up right now. Like, girl.
She got me spot on, right? That's what someone.
Spot on.
That's hilarious. Okay, so we are on to question 8. We're almost through with these questions.
Wait, though. Can I make a caveat to that statement?
Of course.
I think that there's something else that sometimes women experience, and this is a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
There are some women out there that can experience a rush of really amount of shame, guilt, depression, sadness after orgasm, right? And it is a condition, and it's where you get kind of very depressed right after orgasm. It can last anywhere from like 2 minutes to like 24 hours or so. And it's like post-coital dysphoria. I think I said it right. PCD, post-coital dysphoria. So what it is it's where after your body rushes with all that dopamine and you've experienced this incredible like rush of greatness, you peaked, and then your come down is just very, very difficult to process. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there so that if there are women who are watching this who have ever experienced like incredible sadness after orgasm or after sex, and it's happening consistently, that you might want to go and talk to your doctor about it, because it could be something. It's a normal thing. It does happen. You're not crazy. But also check into, is it something that's happened with more than one partner, or are you feeling some feelings about the partner that you're with? And then you might want to look at your relationship and see what could be causing sadness. But you shouldn't feel super sad like right after.
Right. Good stuff. Thank you, Michelle.
No problem. Just wanted to put it out there.
All right, girl. So the next question is, why is it so hard for women to squirt? And is there a technique?
All right. So squirting. I knew it was going to come up. And
It's here.
I always thought that squirting was like awesome, and you know, there was a time when I was a little bit younger that I was like, "Ooh, girl, I'm gonna learn how to do this. I'm gonna teach myself." Well, I taught myself right into it. Like, girl, it was you know what? Let me sidestep that. But I've continued to do research on this debate, like, do women squirt? Because I think that pornography has taught us and has socialized us to believe that we all should be squirting, and oh my gosh, she squirted across the room, and then men have this expectation like, oh, you're gonna squirt and I can't make her squirt. All right, so last year in 2015, January 2015, the Journal of Sex did a study or published a study that looked at what squirting was. Is it squirting? Is it ejaculation? Is it urine?
Yeah.
So this specific test or study tested women's bladders prior to and after they experienced a big O. And what they found, aside from the fact, because we've always known, there's been a lot of studies that say that the chemical compounds of female ejaculate, or what we know as squirting, were very similar to urine. Well, last year's study kind of debunks what it is. And this study spoke to the fact that it's actually coital incontinence in women. So some people make the statement like, "Oh, girl, he the shit out of me. He effed the you know what out of me." So when you're experiencing squirting, it's really he's kind of just effing the pee out of you.
Okay, so it definitely is.
It is you probably urinating, but that's because the orgasm was so good that you lost control of your bladder. And the way they knew this to be true was after these women orgasmed, they looked under ultrasound, their bladders, and they were empty.
Oh, wow. That is very interesting. I've heard other people talk about it in different interviews, and they were saying that they noticed that it didn't smell like.
Well, here's the deal. It doesn't smell like urine, but what are you eating? What are you drinking? And if you empty your bladder during intercourse, right? And then you start to have intercourse, and then it's not like a whole toilet. You're not sitting down and urinating. It's like you go to the bathroom, you start doing vigorous activities, you're probably sweating, your body is processing. So you might have a little bit left in your bladder, and that's what's squirting out. It might not have the same kind of scent that if you had sat down on the toilet and used the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's not as much either, right? And urine is sterile. So if it is urine, okay, it's urine. But I think that we should stop making women feel like this is something that should be happening to them, because that wouldn't be right. That's not even right.
Expectation.
Yeah, we have to kill those. I want to bust out all those myths, because that's not what it really is.
That makes sense. Well, thank you for that. All this good insight over here. So the next question, Michelle, is how can I make myself orgasm when masturbating?
Great question. So we're going to talk about some toys right now, right? So I have my pillow. So we're going to talk about the clitoris. Boom. And then I have my other little vagina. This is a little bit more like, hello.
Okay.
So the clitoris is where you want to focus. And I'm going to show you a couple things. So there's a couple different toys. You want to focus on clitoral stimulation, right? So this is a toy that kind of stimulates oral. And like, let's say, here's your vagina, right? And then if you were to put this right on, can you see the knobbing?
Oh, yeah.
And this is just one setting.
Wow.
So that would go right on your clitoris, and then that would give you a lot of stimulation.
Okay.
I have a pet.
It happens. It's okay.
Down, doggy, down. Anyway, so you want to focus on your clitoris, guys. That's where 8,000 nerve endings are. There are different toys, and let's spend some money on our toys. That's another thing. You can get the this is maybe a $20 toy right here, and it's just going to turn on and vibrate, and you just would put that on your clitoris. Some people like to use an actual dildo like this, and and this one is suction. I don't know if you can.
What? Oh my goodness!
Back it up. Own it if you need it. I'm terrible.
I've never seen it before.
Or you can put it on the floor and then hop up and down on it.
Wow.
And then there is, so some people like this, right? But I would also suggest a little clitoral stimulation. But you want to set the mood. I'm going to break out another toy. This is a new toy that just came out not too long ago. It's a German-based company. And this one uses an air pleasure technology. What? So this is what this is. And then what you're going to do is, you see the little hole?
Yeah.
The womanizer. And which, let's not even get into the name. Everybody knows it's a different name. But womanizer in German-based company. Womanizer in German means good lover.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
The translation is poor. Bad, but toy amazing. So what's happening, you can't really tell this, but you're going to put this on right on your clitoris. And what this does, because of the way it's designed, it's going to, see, it kind of separates your labia minora, and it will engulf. If this was your clit, it will kind of engulf. And then there's air pulsing in and out of this. So it kind of mimics the flickering of a tongue. Right? So it really engulfs the area. And these are also fun things to use with your partner. Like, I am all for, you had a couple questions where, how do you get your partner off quickest? Yeah. Can we use toys? I think it's a combination of all. I think it's a combination of us as women empowering ourselves to know our own bodies by playing with toys, by trying things out on our own. And then what will make our sex life better is we bring that into the bedroom. We live in a society where men are stigmatized for being sexually explorative, right? If it's not the regular old heteronormative, yeah, I'm going to have a threesome, then we look at them like they're awkward. So I think, especially in our community, it's up to us to really know what we want as women and be able to take the hand of our partners and help walk them to that space. Without having a fear of being looked at like a slut or a hoe or overly experienced. If you're a woman, you can have 0 partners or just one partner, but know your body sexually because you have gotten to know yourself. And I think that's a great thing.
Now, really quick, as a follow-up, Michelle, you said something about setting the atmosphere, setting the tone. If there is a woman who's interested in learning more about her body, exploring and masturbating, but she's uncomfortable and and feels awkward even if she's alone, how can she set the tone and kind of start?
Well, I think for that woman, I would say, what's relaxing to you? I would start maybe, if you've got kids or you don't have kids, try to put the kids away, or put kids away, like you can put them in a drawer. But put the kids to bed or send them to grandmas or aunties or whatever, and then maybe draw a bath. I mean, for myself, I know that taking a nice hot bath, a nice hot shower, having a glass of wine, putting some music on. Perhaps you want to watch a little pornography. I know that's not for everybody, but just do the things to really get you relaxed. Maybe if porn is not your thing, perhaps some erotic literature. Might I suggest my favorite book is Venus in Furs. It is a book about BDSM and sadomasochism. It's like the original 50 Shades of Black. Or 50 Shades of Gray.
Okay.
Of the spoof. That's so funny. 50 Shades of Gray. And it's really short. It's German, and it's been translated. It's about 120 pages. And it's a lot about female domination and this man. I don't want to give it all away, but it's a lot of servitude. It's pretty hot.
And what's it called again, Michelle?
It's called Venus in Furs.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I like it. But maybe finding some erotic literature and then and allow nobody's there. No one is watching you, right? So allow yourself to allow yourself a space to fantasize about. If no one was there to know what you wanted to be like sexually or what your deepest fantasies were, let yourself indulge in that. I think you deserve it. Dance around in your underwear in front of the mirror. Take some time to look at your body. Find out what you find sexy about your body. Now, a lot of this stuff really is also about empowerment of self, right? Yeah. Like the sexier you feel, the more empowered you feel, the more confident you are at work. The more confident you are at work, the better you perform, right? So all of these things, if you're somebody who wasn't raised to really understand their body, work out more, exercise, right? See your body go through these metamorphoses, right? And I think all of those things can really help somebody to get more in touch with your body. Sexuality isn't all about sex. It's all about who we are, right? It's all about you. It's all about me. It connects to so many things about our confidence and how we see ourselves. So my hope is that by giving out this information, we can help women feel better about themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly, Michelle. And we have 2 more questions left. We're almost
great. I'm here. I'm with you.
Let's do it. All right. So our next question is, why can't some women have vaginal induced orgasms and others can't?
Well, there are some positions. Again, we're going to go take it right on back to the clitoris, right? That is where all your nerve endings are. Yes, you can have some pleasure, and women do experience pleasure with vaginal sex, right? But for the majority of women, clitoral stimulation is really what's going to get them to climax. And I think that being aware of that and being aware of who you are, it takes you back to masturbation. It takes you back to knowing your body. But there are some positions, if you would like to try to have a vaginal orgasm, that can help stimulate both the vaginal but also the clitoral at the same time. Doggy style is a great way to experience that because of the way your bodies are positioned and the way that you are kind of anatomically set up. I think another really good one is if you're doing like reverse cowgirl, or not reverse cowgirl, but doggy style, but you laying flat is another really good way to kind of feel orgasm, just because of the way your body, again. And another way to help that is if you were to put a pillow underneath your pelvis, which would kind of tilt you up again. So then the direction that the penis is going into the vagina will create friction on the clitoral area, or will create some type of friction in that area. That can always really help. But why women do that, or why some women can and some women can't, it's really a personal thing and about their bodies. But again, the clitoris is where most of your nerve endings are, and you really want to focus on that area. Okay, so learn more about the clit, basically. Yeah, play with it, touch it. Don't be afraid of it. It's yours. That's right. That's right. All right, we have 8 viewers who have stuck with us, Michelle. I really appreciate them. That is so awesome. So our last question is, why do women take forever to orgasm and men typically don't? Okay, so a couple things. With orgasm in men, it's not a choice, right? It's not really a choice in either of us, but really with men, it's just like the way their bodies, like the epididymis, are chilling, or the epididymis is where all the sperm is chilling. And when that orgasm hits, it's muscles contracting and they have absolutely no control, right? They can learn control, but that takes time and practice. And instead of ejaculating, they would like inwardly. Orgasm is separate from ejaculation. So a man can orgasm and be like, oh my gosh, I really feel this. but not actually ejaculate. And sometimes you can see men while you're having intercourse, they might like stop and like they're like trying to hold it back. Mm-hmm. Those are ways for them to prolong their ability to sustain erection, but it takes practice. So like you would get to a point where you're like, feel like you were going to ejaculate. And if you were a man, you would grab the base of your penis and kind of create pressure from where the base and the scrotum are. And that can kind of hold off ejaculation. But that doesn't mean that psychologically and physically you cannot experience that pleasure of euphoric orgasmic sense. That's really what they're talking about when they're talking about tantric sex. And that's how you get to kind of that level. And for women, because of the way our bodies become erect and we are much more cerebral, mm-hmm. that's why it takes women a lot longer. Yeah. Right? So if a woman, you've ever heard of women being like, oh, we're just on the same wavelength. When we get together, we can just automatically get there. And then you hear other women are like, girl, it just takes him forever to get me off. If you were to look at their relationships, right? So take it out of the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And you looked at the level of communication with the partners and you looked at well, is there some antitrust in one of them? Is there problems in one of them? I would be inclined to believe that you would see a parallel for the couples that are like, girl, he can just get me off so quickly, to be couples that have better communication skills. They're not holding grudges. They're not upset because you didn't take the trash out last night. They're not letting other things distract them. They're not thinking about their job. They're not thinking about what they're going to do for work tomorrow or what meetings they have. Right. Because mentally, you got to be, if you're not there with the partner and with that specific person, you got to be there mentally for your body and your orgasm. If you have other things distracting that, it's going to take you a lot longer to orgasm. Exactly. A lot longer. So
that makes perfect sense.
I think that then again, it goes back to individual preference and kind of communication and really being present. If you're thinking about who might Twitter you or how many likes you got on that last post, girl, bad. You can get that orgasm by because you have to be present.
That's good stuff. Oh my goodness, Michelle, thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Anytime.
Orgasm Day. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. Those who have sat with us for this hour, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you have not already, definitely check out Michelle's interview on Mocha Girls Pit Stop YouTube channel. It's amazing, absolutely incredible. She has an inspiring story and more great advice to give you. So definitely check that out. You can find that right on this YouTube channel. Michelle, any closing words?
Make sure you guys are following me on my social media, which is @MHSexpert. You can also go to my website, which is www.mhsexpert. I welcome all questions, and I am non-judgmental. And again, I am humbled and I am appreciative to all of the people, because I don't know if they're men or women, that stayed with us. And I hope you guys stay tuned. I hope to bring a lot more your way. And, we got a lot more things coming.
All right, everyone. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.